Hello, this is Chris here again, ZL1 CVD. A bit of a wrap-up video to show where I'm at with where I've managed to get to with this transceiver. So I've set up here, we've got an analyzer, attenuator, dummy load, and that's the RF output from the transceiver in here. We've got the control cables going to a breakout box here. And this time I'm actually controlling it with this USB adapter which goes to my computer, which sits there. That's the computer. All this head unit here is doing is turning the transceiver off and on. There's no data going from this anymore to the transceiver. What I've managed to do is, this oscilloscope shows, we have got, this is, okay, we'll come back over here. This is a web page that I've made using the Chromium browser, and it has, one of the great things about Chrome is it has what they call web serial, and from that, on this web page, you can write code to talk to anything connected as serial, and this RS-485 interface is connecting to serial to the transceiver. So this web page here is actually controlling the transceiver. Now it can't do a heck of a lot. I mean, we can set frequency, we can select mode, squelch, you see, you can hear that, squelch come on, and we can have the guard come off and on. Alright. Over here we have a generator, and our guard is, our guard will be 121.5. Okay, so that's the guard frequency I've entered there, and you can hear that tone coming out of the headset here, and that's because we're in the VHF band. If we go to 399 and hit enter, our tone's gone, no more tone, so we need to change the guard frequency to 243. Okay, so for ham radio guys that don't understand, or anybody that doesn't understand what guard is, in the military aircraft, these transceivers cover a wide range of frequencies, right? Now, if you have somebody who's bailed out of an aeroplane or something like that, they have emergency transceivers with them, and those emergency transceivers are on fixed frequencies. They call them guard frequencies, and there's guard frequencies for VHF and UHF bands, and it's the sort of thing a pilot would eject with, and it's attached to his pilot seat. And he'd have this little transceiver which you can break away from that seat, I believe, and takes that with them, and he can talk to the aircraft. So what the aircraft do is they have a setting on here which you can see, off, transmit receive, and transmit receive plus G. Now that plus G is the guard receiver. So they might be communicating normally on 121.3 between, I don't know, a couple of each other. Well, they probably won't, because that's actually an aircraft, a tower frequency. So they would be communicating with the tower, but if someone went down and was transmitting an emergency SOS, they'd pick it up if it was in the TR plus G position. So what my code is doing here is it's turning on that second guard receiver here, or we can have it straight to just the TR setting, and that will turn that transceiver, the other receiver, the guard receiver off. Okay, so what have I found out about doing this? I found that it's a very capable transceiver. It has got a feature in here called, which I don't understand a lot about, and I hope to one day explore. It's called HAVQuick. And HAVQuick is an anti-jamming frequency hopping system that the military's been using for many years. And I think this transceiver here is circa the late 90s, so it's 30 odd years old, this Havquick, and they've got all sorts of newer versions of it, but so it's a very, very early anti-jamming system, frequency hopping anti-jamming system. So it supports it, but I have got close to no idea of how to set that up. But what I do know is how to set it up in plain frequencies, which I have been doing, and I found that where the manual says that it will only do AM and FM on certain bands, I can actually force it to do AM and FM across the entire range that it works. So that's handy for me, because traditionally it was only going to do 2 meters AM, which is not very good for 2 meters for amateur radio use. So I can now use it as for 2 meters FM. But I guess the purpose of today's video was to show that I've managed to get the full web interface going, and the radio works and it responds to this web interface. And I've had questions about, well, how are you doing it? And it's all code. It's all this JavaScript code in here that I've used, which builds up packets of serial data, and it sends it out via the RS-485 connection over here through to the transceiver. Alright, so it works very well. And we can see that happening here. There's a basic handshaking that goes on. This is, if I turn this off here on the web page, okay, so what I've done is I've clicked this off. This is a 250 millisecond polling, and what happens is every 250 milliseconds this web interface sends data to the transceiver, and the transceiver responds. So if we click this back on here, I can tell you that this is coming from my web page, or computer if you like, and this is the response here from the transceiver. Now what I'll do is I'll send a whole, so this is just like a handshaking acknowledgement. It's pretty much the radio, or my controller, which is this web page, going, hello, I'm here, and with this bit, and the radio going, yep, I hear you. So that's what that's all about. But when I want to change frequency, I'll push the button now, and if you watch the screen, you'll see a lot bigger. So when I change frequency, see all that information goes? Okay, so it's sending actually if I turn those frames off and push that frame on, there we are, you can see now that is the, I've changed frequency, this is the new mode, squelch, guard off on, and so on. There's about 29 bits of information, and I've only managed to work out frequency, mode, squelch, guard. So I'm not sure what the rest of it is, and of course there's no data sheet, so I have to pretty much reverse engineer all of this. But that's where I'm at, and I'm quite pleased that I've managed to get this all going. And yes, there is a lot of wires hanging around here, but that's what happens when you reverse engineer bits and pieces. Alright, well, thanks very much for watching my videos. If you've got any questions, pop them in line, and I'll see what I can do about answering you. Alright, thank you. Bye.